the ongoing search and rescue mission to recover the remains of personnel from the ill-fated Indian Air Force AN-12 aircraft that crashed on the Rohtang Pass way back in 1968. The joint team has recovered the remains of 4 more individuals, ladies and gentlemen. This is one of Bharat's longest-running search and recovery operations, and the mission led by the Dogra Scouts of the Indian Army in collaboration with representatives of the Tiranga Mountain Rescue is part of the larger Chandrabhaga Mountain expedition. And they have done something phenomenal. After so many decades, the remains of 4 more individuals have now been recovered. Meanwhile, veteran actor Mithun Chakravarti has been honoured with the Dadasaheb Phalke Award for his contributions to Indian cinema. The 3-time National Award winner dedicated the award to those who have supported him throughout his career. Prime Minister Narendra Modi also congratulated the actor and called him a cultural icon. The Prime Minister added that he is admired across generations for his versatile performances. And Virat Kohli became the 4th cricketer to surpass 27,000 international runs during the second test against Bangladesh, only the second Indian after Sachin Ramesh Tendulkar. ICC chairman and BCCI secretary Jai Shah has hailed the cricketer for his feat, and his post on X says, "Your passion, consistency and hunger to excel inspires many." Well, on that note, let's shift focus, ladies and gentlemen. The 64-year-old Hassan Nasrallah joined the Shia militia Amal movement at the age of 15 and joined the Hezbollah at just 22. By the time he was 25, he had become the deputy head of the Beirut region. At just 32, he had become the Secretary General of the Hezbollah. This was in 1992. 5 years later, in 1997, the Hezbollah was designated a foreign terrorist organization by the US State Department. Since then, more than 60 countries, which include the Arab League and the Gulf Cooperation Council, have designated this outfit as a terrorist group. Hassan Nasrallah himself was a specially designated global terrorist by the US and many other nations. Does he have an India connection? No. Wasn't he the one who celebrated the October 7 massacre by the Hamas? Yes. Isn't he the one who wanted Kashmir Azad and called Kashmir Azad? Yes. And called Bharat an occupier? Yes. Then why do those who have sworn allegiance to Bharat, its constitution and its tricolor, then mourn him and hail him a hero? What is their connection to him? Sectarian, because he's a Shia? Religion, as he's Muslim? What should be our assessment of these netas and supporters then? Those that harbor secessionist intent? Those that eventually intend to subvert the constitution, the tricolor and Bharat, while claiming to work under it, for it? Voters, choose wisely. Custodians of Bharat safety, watch closely. Upholders of justice in our country, please take suo motu cognizance, because this must set the alarm bells ringing. Let's understand this a little more, ladies and gentlemen. Hassan Nasrallah, the leader of Hezbollah for over 3 decades, has been tagged a martyr in Bharat. But is this tag even justified? Is he a martyr or a murderer? 1983-84 suicide truck blasts at the US Embassy and US Marine barracks resulted in over 300 deaths among Americans and Lebanese. 1985, a Trans World Airlines flight was hijacked by a Hezbollah member and who shot and killed a US Navy diver. 2005, a car bomb in Beirut killed Lebanon's former premier. UN investigators pointed to Hezbollah and Syria as the culprits, all under Nasrallah's leadership. 2006, Hezbollah shut down Lebanon's parliament for 18 months after Prime Minister Fouad Siniora rejected Nasrallah's demand for a blocking veto. Hezbollah gunmen attacked opponents in several cities, breaking Nasrallah's promise to avoid violence against fellow Lebanese. A blast caused by 2,750 tons of ammonium nitrate under Hezbollah-controlled team killed 218 people, left 3 lakh people homeless, causing extensive damage. But this is not the first time a terrorist has been hailed or tears have been shed for them. PDP and the NCP, these parties within the within the National Conference, beg your pardon, the PDP, the National Conference, and also some other parties across the country seem to have be habituated in supporting such elements and eulogizing them. 2016, when Hizbul Mujahideen commander Burhan Wani was killed, Mehbooba Mufti said she would have given Burhan Wani a chance had she known he was trapped in the encounter. In 2019, she pushed for a dialogue between the centre and the entire militant or terrorist leadership. She said local terrorists or local militants are sons of the soil and our maximum effort should be to save them because they are assets. In 2013, Omar Abdullah condemned Afzal Guru's hanging and said his hanging will reinforce alienation. Now echoing Mehbooba Mufti's sentiments on Burhan Wani's killing, Omar Abdullah said, mark my words, Burhan's ability to recruit into militancy from the grave will far outstrip anything he could have done on social media. Just ahead of the assembly elections in Jammu and Kashmir, Omar Abdullah said he doesn't think Afzal Guru's execution served any purpose. But on CNN News 18, we tell you that the politics being played over terror, and here's why these protests harm Bharat's sovereignty. Now, just ahead of the J&K Phase 3 polls, there is significant Iranian influence on Kashmiri Shia. Iranian plus Hezbollah leaders' pics have been seen being circulated in some mosques. Shia terror attacks are going unresolved due to a lack of database. There is huge chatter on social media, almost a 40 to 50% increase on social media platforms like Telegram, etc. Around the IDF attacks on Hezbollah. And it's all happening in this region, in Bharat. Among the Shia community, database focuses on Sunni terror associates and not Shia, so that's a concern that the intel agencies have now raised. There's a pattern of Kashmiri youth visiting Iran's Qom province that's been seen, and potential future connection with Iran and its affiliated groups. Intel sources point towards a larger conspiracy. They say many youth from Kashmir are traveling towards Iran's Qom province as it is the largest center for Shia scholarship in the world. Intel sources revealed that it's considered to also be the place of A, radicalization of Shia youth, and B, according to Intel sources, radicalized youth are then now hired by the Iranian intelligence agency or the Quds force, and they remain on their payroll and loyal to them, and they're leaking information about Bharat and other places back to Iran. Youth are being trained to be sleeper cells in our country. That's what the intel source is saying. Iran have associates in the form of Houthi in Yemen, Hezbollah in Lebanon, and the Hamas, despite being a Sunni outfit in Palestine. And they look for Bharat and Pakistan as new possible centers for activities, recruitment, and this could impact Shias in Bharat who are largely have been peaceful and away from these kind of terror activities. Let's go across and understand why we should raise the alarm bells and why we should be concerned when elements who are parliamentarians, elements who are constitutional position holders, people who aspire to be chief ministers of the Union Territory or eventually back to the state of Jammu and Kashmir sometime in the future, those who have held constitutional positions in the past, they are all mourning and trying to hail a designated terrorist as a hero. Sushil Pandit, Kashmiri activist with us. SP Vaid, former DGP Jammu and Kashmir with us. Tausif Shah, leader of the PDP with us. Ahmad Ayaz, political analyst with us. Namaste and Jai Hind to everybody. Thank you very, very much. SP Vaid ji, your thoughts. You have even taken to social media posts saying this kind of hailing of Nasrallah is detrimental.
Namaskar, Anandji. Yes, I did tweet and my concern is badi mushkil se we have been able to get peace in Kashmir with a lot of sacrifices. You know, we from J&K police itself have lost more than 1,700 our officers and jawans, and thousands have been injured, including 7 Director General rank officers. Civilians, so many civilians in Kashmir have lost their lives. I think the total number crosses even 45,000, all total deaths together. So many casualties of the Indian Army, paramilitary, and other kind of people. So I think with a lot of effort, Kashmir is returning to normalcy. But then this kind of just for votes, this kind of glamorizing terrorist organization and terrorist leader who has been, I was listening to your presentation, how about 45 countries, including some of the Arab countries, have designated.
Yes. 60 countries actually, sir.
60 countries. designated Hezbollah as a terrorist organization, and you listed how many terrorist incidents they were able to do, and how they are using their own people as shields. We have all seen on the international media. And see, I would have been very happy if my boy who belonging to my J&K police, who laid down his life yesterday, if people had come in support of that, come hailing his martyrdom, in fact criticizing what Pakistan is doing here, that would have been a real tribute. But no one came for paying tribute to that Head Constable Bashir Ahmed, who lost his life in Kathua district yesterday fighting the terrorist in Mandli, Bilawar. So, this terrorist organization and this leader of Hezbollah, who is about 3,000 kilometers from here. We have so much concern about it, but in our own backyard, we don't concern. If it is only a matter of Ummah, then what about Bashir Ahmed? And if it is only you are talking of all humanity, then what about all those people of your clan? They are the way they are being treated, minorities, including Hindus in Bangladesh. What about the treatment these people are getting in Pakistan? 75 years back, they were all part of our own culture.
Yeah, geographical extension. You're making a point. Yeah,
I think we should have been more concerned about it than such a terrorist and terrorist organization.
Tausif Shah, how do you want to respond to this? Bashir Ahmed is not even mentioned, but everybody is crying for Nasrallah.
Yeah, thanks, Anand. I would first like to pay my homage to the Bashir Ahmed, which we have been paying since yesterday. But yesterday, our party president, Mehbooba Mufti, even in her election campaigns, has stated her martyrdom. So now coming back to the point of Nasrallah, we'll have to go back a bit. We can see that when was the creation of the Hezbollah? It was created in the year of 1982 when Israel illegally invaded southern Lebanon. So this is the creation. How was the Hezbollah created? Now we don't have to go for Lebanon or any other place. We are just saying, we are simply towing the line which our Prime Minister Narendra Modi is towing, which his predecessors have been towing. Like we can say Mr. P.V. Narasimha Rao, Mr. Vajpayee, Mr. Rajiv Gandhi, whichever Prime Ministers we have seen them standing with the side of Palestine. They have accepted that Israel is violating the human rights there, which we have seen right now. That we have seen that Palestine has been turned into an open-air jail. The small kids, like 3 years old, they are dying for the sake of water. Just for the sake of water, not for the sake of food, I am saying. Water. Food to hai hi hai, but they are even dying for the sake of water. They don't have water over there. Now, second thing is there. So now, whosoever stands with the Palestine, he was fighting for the Palestine. That's what we stand with him. We have no direct relations with the Lebanon. Lebanon has no direct relations with us. And second thing, now, if we call him a terrorist organization, we cannot go by the United Nations, where we have seen that United Nations has already declared him as a terrorist. But we have seen that the Prime Minister of Israel, Netanyahu, he has torn down the documents of the United Nations on its face. He didn't even respect the United Nations. So how can we accept the United Nations has termed him as a terrorist? Or why do we accept that America has termed him as a terrorist? We have to accept what my nation, what India has termed him as. India has not termed him as a terrorist yet. Once India terms him as a terrorist, we'll also accept that he was a terrorist. But right now, we are standing with him, our solidarity with him, that's only because of the Palestine. Nothing else, nothing more, nothing less. We are only standing with the human rights violation of the Palestine.
Right. Now, in this case also, Tausif Shah, just one observation that Bharat has very clearly made a delineation between Palestinians and the Hamas. So the Hamas is a terrorist outfit and Bharat recognizes that. although the Palestinian cause is also something that Bharat is sympathetic. So there is a difference between the Hamas and Palestine very clearly as far as the Bharatiya position is also concerned. But Sushil Panditji, you would want to respond to Tausif Shah?
Thank you, Anand, for having me on the show, and good evening to all fellow panelists and your viewers. You know, it would have been amusing and incredibly jocular had it not been so tragic. They talk about Muslims and innocents being killed, but they don't find Muslims killed in Yemen for the last 2 decades, and they're dying of food and lack of medicine. Why? Because Yemeni Muslims are being killed by fellow Muslims. Not in Syria, not in Iraq, where Muslims are killing Muslims. Not in Libya, where Muslims are killing Muslims. Not even in neighboring Pakistan, where Parachinar, recently dozens of Shias were slaughtered. Hezbollah is a Shia organization and Hassan Nasrallah is a Shia leader. More than a majority of a Muslim world do not even consider Shia Muslims. This is the hypocrisy. In Kashmir, Shias are derogatively called Rafizis, and we were told first the Kafir and then the Rafizis. This is the status of Shias within the Muslim Ummah. And today, to score political brownies, this thing is ignored, papered over, and you shed copious tears. You don't shed these copious tears when Shias are massacred in hundreds with their mosques bombed relentlessly and remorselessly. This is the hypocrisy that needs to be called out. That's number one. Number two, it is coming very rich when you say, so-and-so country has declared them terrorists, we have not declared them terrorists. Is Hezbollah a state, a legitimate state? The army that they control, is it a legitimate army? Isn't it an armed and illegal militia? Are they part of Lebanese armed forces? No. They operate like a gang under a warlord called Nasrallah. And see the kind of celebrations going on at the killing of Nasrallah among Muslims, among Iranians, in Europe, in America, outside the embassies of Israel. They are partying, dancing in joy because this man was responsible for the miseries of fellow Muslims. The kind of torture chambers he ran in Lebanon, the kind of reign of terror he unleashed in Lebanon among Muslims. So this comes very rich from people in India who want to mourn and beat their breast at the killing of Nasrallah, who was nothing more than a dreaded terrorist, a wretched terrorist who has been given his just wages now. And to say that we are doing it for fellow Muslims, sorry, in this world, more Muslims are killed by fellow Muslims than the non-Muslims. Please recognize that and start opening your eyes and mouth on that first. Otherwise, all such sympathies you show, you pretend for the innocent and the defenseless will be called hypocrisy and nothing else.
Ahmed Ayaz?
Yeah, Mr. Anand, thank you. You see, different people may look at it differently. They have their own, they are free to look at the way they want. I don't see there is much to read in it, excepting that Hassan Nasrallah has been standing against the, Israel, and then Iran has talked about him. So anyone standing against Israel is obviously, if not the whole Muslim world, but Muslims, particularly in Jammu and Kashmir, will stand in support of. And more so, when Iran supports anything or any development like this takes place, where Iran is involved, obviously Iran being an Islamic republic, at least the people, the Muslims in Jammu and Kashmir particularly will stand, and then it must have happened in the past also. And as I see that it can happen in the future also, because it's not just because somebody is directly supporting the Hassan Nasrallah. It is because some sentiment is involved with the Iran being an Islamic republic, and then anyone standing against the Israel And people, definitely Muslims, particularly in Jammu and Kashmir, will stand against, stand in support of such a man. And since the Hassan Nasrallah has been doing so, that looks to be a reason. There is nothing much beyond that, as I see.
No, but why will people in Jammu and Kashmir stand with whatever Iran does or says? They should be bothered about what is happening in their own country and what Bharat stands for and Bharat says, right? How does it matter what Iran says?
As I said, that when I said that Muslim, there's a sentiment involved. Iran being an Islamic, republic. And
Islamic Republic or a Shia Republic? Are you saying is it because there is a Shia connection to it? Say it then openly, no?
No, it's not. No, we don't say that way. We don't say that way. Well, that is a Shia populated, and in Jammu and Kashmir also Shias are living.
So then say it like that, no? So saying that this is purely sectarian, that Iran is Shia, so largely the Shia population in Kashmir will try and will join issue or find sentimental attachment there. Is that what you're trying to say? Then say it like that.
I won't call it sectarian because it's colored with the Israel also. So Israel, even if you say that Iranians are Shias, but there is not. This is not like Israel. Israel then is then another wire we club together. So as such, it can't be seen only as an Shia Sunni or Shia Muslim or Sunni Muslim. It has to be seen as Muslims as well.
So you want to identify with the Shia Iran, but you also want to be seen as a collective and Muslims not as sectarian, because don't see it as Shia and Sunni. You can't have both. You can't have both. Because Iran is backing the Hezbollah as a Shia outfit and it's a front. The point is it's a front for a proxy war. So you are saying that Kashmir, that's all right, SP Vaid. Do you agree with this logic? Because Nasrallah said Azad Kashmir, Nasrallah called Bharat as an occupier of Kashmir. So are these people also endorsing that?
It appears. See, if they stand by, I understand the linkages of Shia community in Srinagar, Badgam and some areas of other areas of Kashmir Valley. They have a lot of relationship with Iran, but if it was human to human relationship, they are standing for the people of Iran, I can understand. And people of Iran, their sentiment about the radical government which is in Iran. I think thousands of women have been murdered by this very radical government there. And Palestine, common people, fine. You stand, okay, you have a sentiment. But then standing by a terrorist organization, as Sushilji was saying, you saw how people celebrated all across the Muslim world. You saw it, whether it was Syria, in Iran itself, people celebrated and distributed sweets. How that shows how much people were fed up of this terrorist organization and its leader. You saw in front of the embassy how people celebrated in London. So there is no justification. Can you tell me slogans like "Har ghar se ek Nasrullah niklega"? What does it mean? It means you want the youth of Kashmir to become something like Nasrullah. So, which direction are you taking future generation of Kashmir to? How much difficulty we were able to bring some sense of normalcy, and now if we have to make our youth, everyone in every home in Nasrullah, where are you taking your future generation?
Yeah.
I think
what kind of messaging is that? Tausif Shah, I've got just 2 minutes on the debate and then we got to take a break. Yeah.
Okay. So,
very
humbly, very respectfully, I'd like to reply to Mr. Sushil Pandit and our former DGP, Mr. Vaid. I just feel that we have seen some of the people also celebrating here. They have tweeted, they have the message on the Facebook that they're very happy with the killing, but simultaneously we have seen the protests. Like same thing has happened in the Europe. We have seen many Jews. Please note my words. We have seen many Jews protesting against the killings, and we have seen many Muslims supporting the killing. So this cannot. There are different. It's a social fabric, different thinking, different thoughts, different people. So you cannot calculate one thing and leave the second thing down.
No, but Tausif Shah, the question is, as political leadership, what is it that you're going to advocate? Are you going to advocate aligning with cultures or with terrorist outfits and violent intents? Are you going to advocate aligning with elements who have been proscribed or elements who are being celebrated across the world? That's the question. That's the question mark.
Anything that fetches votes.
I'd like to answer that. We have already seen the 30 years of the turmoil in Jammu state. We have already seen the 30 years of turmoil state, and we know what militancy is. We have seen the exodus of our Pandit brothers. We know how it hurts. So we would not like to align with the terrorists. We would not like this state to once again go down back to the terrorism, back to things what have happened, the gun culture and the other things, the blastings, and you could not come out. We are highly against it. That's why we are in the elections. Otherwise,
if that is the case, then ahead of the third phase, then that should not have been. What should have been spoken more? Would should have been Bashir Ahmed and not Hassan Nasrallah. That's what I'm saying. Har ghar se Bashir Ahmed niklega, koi kehta to, and you should have populated those pictures rather than young children coming out and saying har ghar se Nasrallah niklega. So it's about what you're trying to feed the masses while you're sitting here on national television and talking the right thing. On the streets of Jammu and Kashmir, are you actually walking the talk? That's the bigger concern. Well, I have to pause on that note. We'll let the voter decide. We're going to take a short break. When we come back, we shift from Jammu and Kashmir. We turn towards Tamil Nadu, ladies and gentlemen, and what's happening there. Udayanidhi Stalin is elevated. Is he experienced enough? And the larger question is, he's not been even given a portfolio. So why this? Is this merit or just brazen dynastic politics and parivarwad? Does that stick, that charge? Stay with us.